Hello and welcome to the New World Review, where I have decided never to give Liam reason to use this photograph again. Frankly, I don't know why this photo keeps turning up, but it's the most horrifying thing I can think of. Even more horrifying than this, and this. You're used to me scaring you, insulting you, ranting at you, and generally displeasing you, so today I'm going to provide you with this particular image and hope that Liam is kind enough not to use the same one repeatedly for the next 5 minutes. Especially since this person right here is not in fact featured in Hunter x Hunter. If you too dislike Liam's use of this image, please hit the like button. Wait, no. Let's discuss episodes 25 and 27. Oh yes, I skipped one because it was a recap. Okay, so, spoilers. Episode 25. Something I haven't discussed up till now is the new opening we have, and something I didn't really discuss originally was the opening we had. We've stepped away from the concept of hunting or hunters for a little bit, and we're in a tourist video? It seems strange to be in a tourist video, but up till now, maybe that's appropriate. We've got some teenagers who we can only assume contact their homes and important people, sorry, Kurapika, regularly to tell them they're alive. I mean, really, what kind of world do we live in where no one checks on the 10-year-old to see if he's even alive at this point? I don't care if he sends letters home. What's going on? What kind of world is this in general? One where it's okay to breed children for hunting, if Hisoka's to be believed with his creepy under-the-bed face. I enjoyed the tourist slot as it happens. I like that we hear what the world outside of hunters and assassins would see if they were to look at the map and try to learn about the dark side. It's like us in the real world learning about the mafia. No, we don't want to actually engage with the mafia or the dark web. Ooh, dark web. But it's enough to know it exists. I do wonder, given that we're shown the silhouettes of Killwa's family, whether they know Miruki exists. As someone experiencing lactose intolerance, I know I have concerns about the names given to these characters. We'll come back to that later. It's also interesting looking at those silhouettes that we're given the silhouettes despite the fact that we see who they are almost immediately, unlike the original hunters and the phantom trope. Phantom, people. Thinking about it more in terms of the world we live in, Killua, despite living a life where physical abuse is literally commonplace and expected, is the only one whose family actually sought him out. Not only that, but his family are the only ones so far who have actually taken the time to bring him home or direct him on a path that, sure, is incredibly dangerous and psychopathic, but sort of makes sense. Despite everything, they obviously care about him. It's a very strange unit to see, but the fact of the matter is that it's a unit, and that unit moves beyond just the close family. It seems the butlers, all of them, or at least the two with lions, also care about him. His mother is someone I simply don't understand. On the one hand, she seems to adore him. On the other, she seems to loathe him. There's nothing normal about the lives they live, and maybe it's because they are assassins and they can only trust each other since everyone else wants them dead for sure. But I found myself feeling bad for her losing essentially her favourite son. Kanaria staying behind also seemed to sadden her too, but since she had a hand in freeing him, perhaps that little smile at the end means it's worth it. I found it really interesting how well they could show her emotion on her face, given it was entirely animated and still, and I appreciated that. In fact, when I look back on it, it's quite funny that she was the only one whose face was visible among those really, really tall people. What is it about her that they hired a very short, clearly juvenile person to be a butler at this manor? Anyway, I spent a whole episode on her. Let's move on. We found out what Hisoka said to Kurapika, and it was not about Gon. How foolish and wrong I was. Silly past me. Turns out he knew something about the arachnid Kurapida was... Yes, Kurapida. I'm smart. Was it because he was perfectly calm at the time? But he was perfectly calm when Dudebra back in the jail said it, even though he knew Dudebra was not one of the phantom spiders. Phantom, I'll get names eventually. Gon slicing his own eye was horrific, mostly because when I see things like that, I imagine what it would feel like. That said, I do also very much enjoy coin tricks and trying to guess which hand a coin is in. Liam may well not know this. I love that game. Now he knows, I guess. They got Killua back. Boys are back in town. Except they're not, because the team split off immediately. Gon and Killua have to find a gravity machine. Maybe Bulma has one. Oh, I'm excited for the crossover because I'm really hoping they don't just leave us hanging with an entire season before we get to pick up these storylines again. I sense a training montage between all three. Maybe an episode each to see how they're going. Leorio gets to go to cram school and he has his own cutesy slice of life anime, while Kurapika joins some kind of fight club that he could never speak of again, but does because he's Kurapika. At least that's what I would do with this series. I also really have to say, why? Why York New City? York New? Let's move on. It's such low-hanging fruit. I'm not even going to episode 27, and it seems like any hope of a quick montage has been shattered. Because who cares about Leorio and Kurapika when we can talk about cute little martial arts boy and My favorite moment of the entire episode was Killua saying, I want to learn about Reninen because it might give me clues about my brother, and the narrator basically saying, and Gon was also there. It was hilarious and entertaining. It was also a tiny moment at the end and really wasn't the only thing I liked, so let's look at the rest of the episode. People have been underestimating these kids from the beginning of the show, so it's not a surprise to me that they enter a tournament no child has any business being a part of and are immediately dismissed by everyone but a smaller, stronger child. The sudden yell and the come home with me, little boys, and I'll teach you how to be bigger, faster, stronger, better. Don't do it, but also do, because it's time Killua wasn't affected by his brother. And then maybe he could go back and finish the Hunter exam? No, just the Hunter exam. Finish the Hunter exam and return home to be the true king of Pride Mountain the way his father always wanted him to be. I believe in you, Killua. Despite the number of story tropes I just touched on, I actually do think Killua is pretty amazing, and I would actually like to see what happens when he does get strong enough to have a showdown with his brother, when he does finish the Hunter exam, though that one seems much less likely for some reason, when he does become the true king of Chickenville and rule the roost after beating down his tiger dad and panicky eye-glow mother. But what exactly is the significance of Cute Fish Boy? He's kind of adorable in his little gi and his serious eyes of, I'm gonna learn to beat people up with care and attention. See my stance as I prepare to, now look at me while I enhance my energy and become the one thing you'll bounce back away from. Mwahaha, you scared, Killua? Good, maybe you should be. That is my impression of little Zushi, so that you know. I'm glad they have another kid to get mad at or curious about, but at the same time, it still seems unlikely that all these kids are going to be in the same league, or even that they would appear. Is Zushi in fact stronger, faster, better, bigger, whatever that song's adjectives are? He doesn't turn up in the brand new opening credits. Don't think I missed that. Oh, I am very percept. His trainer didn't either. Don't think I missed that. I am very percept. Which means we are and will just pass through this time probably fairly quickly. Though I do wonder sometimes whether it's less about the important people and more about the strong people when they choose who to show. Maybe Zushi and his trainer will turn up later down the line in a future arc, as the setup seems to be, come with me if you want to learn. I doubt it, but I have been wrong before. Maybe once or twice. Don't get ideas, Liam. Don't think I missed that. I am very percept. What I liked about the opening credits, Liam hates that I do this out of order, writers I think, sorry guys, was that the actual lyrics changed to reflect where we are in the story. I knew because I often sing along, and that Hisoka turns up. He still turns up. Anyway, despite being somewhat unhealthy, it was clear to me that the credits have been updated to show what's ahead while also tipping a hat to all the things that weren't resolved in the first season. And since the characters are eventually going to have to go to York New, it makes sense to me that the past trauma would appear in the present credits. We're not focused on Gon for this arc though. I sense the focus shifting. Let's talk about the moment Killua did bounce back. Yes, it was an immediate response to Zushi's intention changing in the same way that Illumi's did, and that's been made very clear. But we never truly see the end of that fight. Yes, it's entirely likely that Killua did win and Zushi lost in time. Something about the way the cut happened was interesting. Why stop there? Why not show Killua conquering that fear, even briefly? Would Chicken Wing have stopped Zushi using his Reninen if Killua had been an adult? And can we look at all these food names, please? Mirki, Zushi, Chicken Wing. Look, I added the chicken, but we also do have Cluck Cluck Chickeny Mountain. What's going on here? Is this actually a play on Dragon Ball Z, since we're just learning to power up? This family is important, but we seem to have very quickly passed through a transitional phase between arcs and are now in a phase of power up. I'd say we're still in an arc of training, but the story here seems fuzzy. An episode ago, the characters were looking for Killua, and the important thing was Killua's family. This still feels like an arc about Killua, but it's a little loose. I don't know where we're going, despite having heard Liam say Nen several times and knowing there are videos like this one, and this one on the channel, even if I haven't watched them. Nen is a thing. Don't know about Ren, which is why I keep going Ren. It's also quite fun to say if you say it to yourself. Anyway, I have no idea what that thing is. It's a thing with a capital T that is very much known in the culture of Hunter x Hunter. I'm hoping it becomes clearer soon. It's something that seems to happen a lot in this series. We float around on a bed of concepts for a while, then touch down on hard-hitting story for a few episodes before floating up again. It's not that I can't handle conceptual ideas, it's that when that's all I'm getting, it's hard to feel that what I'm watching is all connected, and I need it to be connected and significant for me to engage with it fully. I will hope that things get clear very soon, which maybe they will when they get to the strange man's house. And you know what? That sounds like a perfect place to stop. Don't go into strangers' houses, stay in yours. Instead, visit the Discord server, hit like or the dislike button, and maybe go here or watch this thing or do this thing instead. Am I getting it right? Buttons, clickable things. This has been the Grand Line Review. Tell me your thoughts on episodes 25 and 26 of Hunter x Hunter, and I'll have more things like this for you to click next time.